Let's have a huge round of applause, everyone, for Ms. Priya Yudhirani. Our third panelist is Ms. Lakshika Joshi, AVP Legal and Global IT Head at Capgemini. Let's have a huge round of applause, everyone, for Ms. Lakshika. Ms. Lakshika has not reached and joined us yet, so we have with us Ms. Rashmi with us. Let's have a huge round of applause, everyone, for Ms. Rashmi.
Thank you very much, and thank you for staying on after lunch and having become part of this, what we hope is a very engaging conversation. While the topic is very broad in terms of setbacks and strides, on this stage are women from different parts of the profession. From the judiciary, we have Murari, who's been senior counsel, who also has different experiences at the bar, engaging with elections at the bar, and the challenges that she has faced here. Ms. Kapalia, thank you so much for joining us at the last minute, but she brings a wealth of experience in terms of your rich career at various levels. So what we hope to achieve in the next 30 minutes is a conversation to see how women have really overcome their own concerns personally as well as structurally. Just to set a little bit of context, I want to say that the International Bar Association is right now undertaking research, which is a 9-year period of research across 16 jurisdictions, trying to understand how we can bring about 50-50 parity by the year 2030 across all senior levels within the legal profession, whether it is at the bar, whether it's the judiciary, law firms, in-house counsel, or where lawyers are holding public office, such as public prosecutors, law officers, across the spectrum. While we all are aware now with increasing focus on legal education, better quality of education, more access to legal education, law has become a profession of choice. It's not something that we fall back on because we didn't get into medical school or, we were discouraged to do so. That was the case 30 years ago. Now we are proud to be lawyers and proud to get into law school. So while that needle has moved, unfortunately, at the very, very senior level, we don't have enough women. Now, what are these reasons for the leaky pipe is something that I hope we will have some discussion as we go forward today. Right at the start, I'd like to invite Justice Pushkarna to give her opening remarks, and then we'll have a panel discussion where we'll take a few questions at the end from the audience as well. Justice Pushkarna, thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here amongst all of you. The legal landscape, like many other professions, has witnessed a transformative change over the years. We have seen incredible strides towards equality, and yet challenges do persist. Today, as we see and reflect on the setbacks women have faced in the legal profession, we must also acknowledge the progress which women have actually made and contemplate the path that lies ahead. To begin with, it cannot be denied that the legal field has long been a male-dominated space, but it is also for us to acknowledge that women have been making remarkable strides, breaking down barriers and making their mark in the profession. The legal profession, as we know, is not an easy one, and despite the fact that it is one of the most respected and coveted careers, women have to face a plethora of hurdles. Consequently, it is us women who have been at the forefront of fighting the gender inequality and women's rights, using the law as a tool for change. So, therefore, it's so important to acknowledge the strength and resilience of the women, which has been evident throughout the history, from fighting for the right to vote to women who shattered the glass ceiling in their respective fields. Women have always demonstrated their yes, they possess to overcome any obstacle. And I would say, as far as the law field is concerned, sky is the limit. Yes, women are coming forward, but still there is a lot to be done. But I'm sure with the new perspective that the new generation is ready for, with their confidence, with their hard work, with their dedication, women will just move forward in life and just get whatever they want in life.
Thank you so much for this kind words. If I may ask, what were your own hurdles, or what do you see as hurdles for women who want to become a part of the judiciary, whether it's the higher judiciary or at the starting level? How can that be a career choice if women want to become a part of the judiciary?
Okay, so first of all, I would like to share that I'm a first generation lawyer, a first generation judge, of course. So in the field of law, there's no one in my family. So when I joined the profession, I felt a little lost for a long time. See, because at that point of time, there was no system of internship like we have. So my first day when I stepped inside the court was after becoming a lawyer. So I actually felt so lost. But today the situation is really different. What I see, the concept of internship being there, more women lawyers being there. So definitely that has made a lot of difference. So, and as far as the question with respect to joining the judiciary is concerned, see, this is something, one is the district judiciary, where of course young girls can take up the examination. But as far as judiciary in the High Court or the Supreme Court is concerned, no one can really plan for it. Like, I would only say that the women out here, all the young women with the stars in their eyes, you work hard, be focused, and your work shall be noticed. And today, it's so heartening to see that there are more women lawyers in the court, and not only that, there are so many organizations that support the women. So with that, it's so easy, I think, to have that mentorship. So once these young girls have mentors who can just guide them, and I would say, have faith in yourself, have trust in yourself, just be focused, and you will be noticed, you shall be noticed. And as far as judiciary is concerned, yes, definitely at the collegium level, with more judges being elevated in the High Court or in the Supreme Court. Like today, at one point of time in the Delhi High Court, we had 12 women judges. As of today, there are 9 women judges. So yes, definitely when the women judges are part of the collegium who make the selection for the names of the who to propose the names for judges, so definitely they would think about all the young women who they see in front of them. And let me tell you, as a judge, my experience has been tremendous. I see so many young girls and young women appearing before me. They're confident, they're prepared, and yes, definitely, and I see in them the future judges.
Thank you so much. I'm sure that's heartening for all of us to hear, and there's no doubt for hardworking women lawyers. Ms. Hurani, if I may come to you now. You come from an illustrious family. As you said the other day, you've grown up seeing the cause of justice as dinner table conversations at your home, and right from the Nagapur Diamond case to where the idea of the PIL has now come. It's been a long journey. You're also senior counsel. In that context, how has your journey been as senior counsel, as somebody who's worked pro bono for uplifting the cause of society? And that journey been easy as a woman lawyer, and what are your thoughts around that?
Good afternoon, Mrs. family and your friends. Special thank you to Dr. Basili and University for having us here, and Shweta for coordinating this wonderful panel. As Basili Mushkala said, she's been a first generation lawyer, so her journey has been difficult to start with. In that context, I would say I was blessed, born in a family of lawyers, and I was the fourth generation lawyer in my family. Of course, the second woman, because on both sides my mother was the first woman lawyer in generation. And we used to have, because both my parents were lawyers, we used to have absolutely interesting and entertaining dinner-table conversations, and the kind of places that they did, and the kind of people who came to our house. Because we started public interest litigation, and we had people, women coming bruised and beaten because of domestic violence. We had, when the Bharatpur grinding case took place, we had people who had lost their lives coming to our house, sometimes to talk to them or give them, or ask for sometimes some money or ration. We had, I mean, it was unbelievable, the kind of our house was an open house for people who could just walk in and say, we have this issue, please help us. So, having seen that, I think it was in my DNA of me and my siblings to start our journey with public interest litigation of pro bono cases. And so I think that was very, the grounding which we got was, you must help anyone and everyone, even if you pay your fees or not, which is very rare these days. So when we start looking at young lawyers who come to us, who want to join law firms, who want to join individuals, the first thing they ask is what would our salary be. So I think that's something which is very important, yes. Economic independence and your salary is very important, but at the same time, your thought process should be that we should also join the legal aid panel, we should do some pro bono work along with our other work. The second aspect which I would want to share is that, of course, when you join the profession, it's very difficult to find the right kind of office to work in, the right kind of person, the right kind of field of law that you want to practice in. So it's very, I think personally, if you want to go into litigation, you should go with an open mind and not think about a particular line of specialization for the first 3 years at least. Do everything you can get your hands on, do every kind of litigation work, and it's only after a few years of having tested waters, then think about planning and deciding whether you want to specialize in something or not. And my journey has been wonderful. Every day I'm very excited when I'm going into court. I'm very happy when I get matters. Even if I don't have matters in court, as you mentioned about the senior counsel, even if not when I was not a senior counsel, I made it a point to go and sit in some court or the other to hear other counsels arguing, see how the judge reacts to the counsel, read the mind of the judges, because that's very important in your career to know, one, how the judge reacts in the court in the morning after breakfast or post lunch, and also to learn from other senior counsels and junior counsels how they argue in court. So I think it's very important for the young generation to go to court and sit even if you don't have any work.
Thank you. If I may ask a follow-up question, where you talked about learning from each other, what more can we do as a community for each other in terms of mentoring, be it within the larger legal fraternities or as one woman lawyer to the other?
See, I think mentoring and getting placement is something which needs to be institutionalized in every bar association. It's very important because you can't expect the bar councils to do it, but every bar association must have a placement cell and a mentoring cell where, particularly for young women lawyers, I find there should be some confidentiality in it. There should be senior people who should be mentors who they can walk up to and discuss their issues and share their problems and get the right kind of guidance. That's one aspect. The other aspect is that when I find now in court, when the young lawyers come into court, they feel and they say that they know it all. It's not so. I think you have to be a bit humble in court. You have to have the zest of learning and listening to others. That's very important. That is, slowly not there as much as it used to be earlier. The other thing which I feel is that a lot of young lawyers join the law firm, and very few partners or people from law firms get due recognition in court, whether it is in designation or even for elevation. I can't think, I was just thinking while Dr. Mini Pushkala was talking, I can't think of a partner from a law firm who has been elevated just recently. Mr. Somashekharan was elevated in Bombay recently, and I can't think of a person immediately in my mind who has been designated or elevated. So law firm practitioners do face a bit of a problem there. They don't get that kind of recognition. They may get so, and mentoring in law firms is far easier than it is in litigation. So I think there's some model which the law firms follow, which I think we should try and sing and adopt.
Thank you. Ms. Joshi has joined us online, but before we get to her, Mr. Kalia, I just wanted to understand from you, you've spent time in the court, you've been in-house, and they sometimes can be different worlds. The in-house role has changed tremendously as well. We see a lot of senior women who've been successful as general counsel. Is that because India and the growth story has changed? We now attract capital. We're also a capital exporting country. We are recognized across the world as a powerhouse, and our growth rate is very, very encouraging. So has that translated into the boardroom, and we see the role of the GC change? We have large in-house teams, and how has that impacted the working woman lawyer?
There are several questions here, so I will brief. And I'm really honored to be sitting on this panel with Justice Pushkarna and Priya. And although I have done 10 years of litigation in the earlier of my practice, the past 25 years it's been in-house. So I'm just going to jumble my answer a little bit. I want to immediately focus on what Priya was talking about mentally. In all corporates, we find that there's a mentorship program, be that for the legal department or any other. I think it will be a great initiative, and I would definitely think that Dr. Vasili would be very instrumental in this answer, not just for law firms, but also for our bar associations to have a mentorship program. And the mentors ought to be not just women to women, but also men and women, vice versa. Very important for our younger generations that are coming up. Not just the internship is one part of it, and that's more related to mainstream career advice. Mentoring is little different, as in that it has a psychological aspect also to it, and the problems that any newcomer is facing. And you can take a newcomer from while they are interns up to maybe the first 5 years in their profession. So that is just something I would recommend and support, and I think it should be done under the auspices of the bar associations. I think the judiciary and the Society of Indian Law Firms can have a big role in this. And so other than this, other than the point that you asked me, how have the roles changed in the corporate world? I have done 25 years in-house, and when I joined, hardly this role, the in-house GC role, was not so established. It has changed over the years. They have been adopted into the C-suite. They are the right-hand people of the CEOs. They take responsibility not just for the role that they play, the legal aspect of it, but also in the business. So being in-house means that you are totally involved in the business also. You are not just having expertise in the field of law in whichever industry you are in, but also helping out in formulating policies, corporate governance, and the business itself, whatever the industry that may be. We've seen a vast number of ladies who have joined in-house now, say in the past 15 years as compared to earlier. When I joined, I was the only, I joined an American MNC, and I was the only woman on their C-suite. I wasn't the director, but I was their general counsel. The same goes for the next company that I joined 9 years ago, which is a European company. And again, I was the only woman. And of course, I had the fortune of, while building the awareness of the company, to get included
in the HR role, the lady who was in the HR role was brought to the C-suite, the company leadership group, as well as the one who was in charge of the health, safety and environment. So more and more corporates are, women have always been there, but legal departments are getting more women in the corporate and also in other verticals that they are representing. The point is that even though you may shift from, say, mainstream practice, which we call litigation in India, anybody who goes to court is mainstream, anybody who is not is considered not an inferior, but you're doing something which is sidetracked. So I would definitely recommend that if you are going into litigation, of course you can continue there, you can take a sidetrack, you can go into corporate or you can go into a law firm. Whatever you do, you must keep abreast of what is happening with the laws and in the litigation field, because that is the mainstream. And anything that you are delivering, even within a company, within a corporate, has to be your knowledge and your understanding of the laws comes from litigation more than just the paperwork that you do in your company when you are in. The general counsel's role continues to support not just the company but also the law firms, because they are the people who choose the law firms where the litigation or arbitration will be going. So they have to have this complete knowledge of what the background is going to be. So, as an example, my trajectory, I have to say that what I told you, 10 years of litigation, which has stood me in great stead. I was able to guide the companies into being zero lit at one point, unless there was a case being foisted upon the company, but did not require any legal action to be taken. We nipped it in the bud. We did a lot of mediation, we did a lot of conciliation, and so with each of these aspects, if you keep it in mind, you have to give your role consistently a 360-degree understanding of where you're going. You're not just mastering the laws, you are also understanding the point of view of the problems that may be arising with you, and like they are said, you have to go to court and understand the ideas, how the judge is behaving. Similarly, when you're in-house, you have to understand how the industry is going. So you give your personality, your understanding of 360, and there is no shortcut to it. It always has to be hard work. So over here, although people think that corporate is like halfway house, you're going to have a 9-to-5 job, nothing of the sort. You have to keep putting in that many hours to keep understanding the business also. So there is one more aspect of things that you learn.
Thank you.
So I think that might be very, yeah.
Nashika, thank you for joining us. If I may sort of, that's comments from Mr. Kaya, segue into your thoughts. Again, as an in-house senior person, what are your thoughts? And I'm going to ask you two specific questions. Has technology helped us, particularly post-COVID, from the perspective of in-house lawyers or otherwise? And also, would leadership training help? Would we see more leaders in women if there was actually mentoring on that front? Of course, feel free to comment on other issues that have been asked. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And first of all, my sincere apologies for not being there in person, because there were some health-related problems, as you can see. And I have one hand in this thing. I've got a very new fracture here, and I was waiting for the MRI to happen in the morning, and then that kept delaying and delaying. So, just to cut the long story short, I mean, the reason for why not being able to reach there in person by the time we started, that also sort of segues into what I'm going to say, because you asked me the question about technology. So it's, thanks to technology that I'm still able to join you all on this panel in time and hear the wonderful speakers before me. Also very inspiring thoughts there. this wouldn't be possible if we did not have the technology. On the other hand, also, I believe that it is because of technology we're finding ourselves sort of dabbling with a little too much at a time. So, I just heard my earlier speaker make a very nice comment about an in-house role no longer being a 9 to 5 kind of a job, which is so true, but which is also true for most of us, not just 9 to 5, just because of technology and also post-COVID. We find ourselves very easily being in a situation where we can have global meetings without having to travel. Every week we have at least 4 to 5 of those where teams across the globe connect. And there has been a lot of seamless sort of transition to a global world in the real sense. But that also poses challenges because when you're looking at the world, you're also sort of becoming so far-sighted that the things which are really near you, such as, taking care of your own health, such as taking care of your own things around you, as women, and this is also one of the setbacks I feel we've taken upon ourselves is we dabble with a little too much at a time. And in doing that, I think we ignore our own selves, and this is not just for women, actually it applies to all, but particularly I've noticed for us in India and to women who are handling very responsible senior leadership roles, because it's taken us a lot more than perhaps our counterparts to get here. We always had to work with, work more than we thought we should, because we were always in that quote-unquote, trying to prove myself kind of a spree at the beginning of our careers, and that just became a habit. That just became the way we were. Somebody who needs to put in 10 hours on a brief, I would as a junior lawyer probably put 12, 14, 15, just to make a point that, I can do better or I can at least do as much. And I think that just gets so inherent in us, in women, that even now, we try to do more than what it entails sometimes, which is not bad at all, and that is why you see so many of us being very successful and at leadership positions. But what happens then, the trade-off is that, and there is always, there's no gain without pain, like they say. So there is something that you're missing out when you're putting in those many extra hours into a particular task. And what you're missing out probably doesn't get reflected in the other aspects that we're handling, whether it is family or homes or relationships, but it gets reflected in what we do with our own selves, whether it's taking care of our health, whether it's taking care of our mental health or physical health and so on, and especially at a leadership level, because that's also the age when you need to take care of yourself more physically. This is not just a general observation or just a personal observation, but I'm part of a few groups where we did these studies, especially women who crossed 40 and were in senior positions or at the peak of their careers, and we circulated these. This was an NGO that this study. I was a part of that NGO from an observer perspective, and the survey actually led to these findings, which were pretty surprising, not so much personally, but yes, they were. But like you said, the in-house role, it has evolved quite a bit from when we joined it. I joined it more than 2 decades back. I also started with practicing in the courts as a litigator. And back then when I made the move, or I made the decision to actually switch gears and join an in-house role, I was almost told that, why would you want to kill your career? You've got a good, nice, bright career ahead of you as a litigator. You do pretty well, and that's the advice that I had from my seniors, very established seniors, very reputed law firms. But then thankfully, the last 2.5, about 3 decades, it took for women like me and many others like me to actually evolve this role of an in-house legal counsel or a general counsel to come to where we are today, where I can proudly say that at times it's extremely challenging.
you have to keep
That's
a
what I
guide.
will come in there and say thank you for that. So we just do one more round of these
Sure.
comments and then we take some questions at the audience. We have a hard stop at 2:45. And thank you for joining us despite all the
My pleasure. Thank you.
innovations that come out. Just Pushkarna, if I can come back to you, when we do one last round of quick responses, if that's okay with everybody. So if you could change one thing, short term or long term, what would that be to help the profession for women?
Today, I can only say when more and more women are coming in the profession, but if you see the statistics, there are more girls who are studying in colleges, maybe 50%, but by the time enrollment in the bar councils actually happens, that's only maybe a 15% or so. So yes, there are more law students who are girls, who are women, but in the profession, what we see is far less number. So I would only say that yes, girls, when you are coming into the profession, there are so many flexible timings as such. There is, when you join a senior, a law firm or whatever, like you in the morning or in the evening, you can always carry your work home. It's not that you have to be there in the office. If your house demands that you have to be back home earlier, then you can always work from home. Like today we have this wonderful woman who has joined online, and then even cases etc. we are joining from online. You need not be there physically present if your child is small or if there is any other responsibility. And one thing I would really like to change is the mental attitude of the women themselves. Feeling empowered, I think that's the most important thing. Because it's only when we think that, yes, our situation is probably more powerful than us, that's the time when the situation becomes probably more powerful. So we must remember that the situations will always be there. But being empowered, and that's our attitude will ultimately will take you just far wherever you want to. So yes, be confident about yourself, be focused, and yes, sometimes like the speaker was just before we was just saying that sometimes we do go far ahead because we need to prove ourselves. Because yes, there are times when it is felt that women they are doing something less, but then at that point of time you are working hard, but then at the same time have this confidence, have the trust in yourself that whatever you are doing right. So do not underestimate yourself, and like I say, sky is the limit.
Thank you. Thank you, Murali. I just want you to talk a little bit about the elections that you have faced and the challenges there. And of course, any final thoughts, please. Thank you.
Okay. Well, in the Bar Association, when I was earlier than that, I think very few women actually thought of contesting elections in the Bar Association or at the Bar Council level. And it was, I remember when I joined the profession, there were only, I think, one or two women who had actually had the courage to contest Bar Council elections in Delhi and in local Delhi. And it was with great difficulty in the group of 25 members of the Bar Council that one or two actually made it, though very few contested. Similarly, Bar Associations, it's always been an uphill task for women to get elected. Many do stand. I must really give them a loud shout, because to even contest in an election, to think about it and to contest is a big thing. And I just share one small anecdote about an organization that Fali Narayan, who is sadly not here with us, the Bar Association of India, he was the president, and Dr. Lalit Bhasin was the honorary secretary. And I think at that point in time in the association there was just one lady, and Dr. Bhasin was very keen that we must have more women in the Bar Association of India, and I think it is
mentoring he did, I must say, on how the Bar Association of India, which is a very large association, works and what is expected of the members who join in. So, but that is very missing in the Bar Associations. Again, nobody mentors you when you contest elections or how you should go about it. And nobody says no. The beauty of the elections in any association is nobody says no to you. They all say yes, of course we'll vote for you. But it's only the result which tells you how many actually voted, how many actually did not vote for you. It is a very, I think an election is something which everybody should go through who would want to come into the association's executive committee, because you get to know a lot of things about yourself which you would otherwise not know. And I had the privilege of serving the Supreme Court Bar Session as the first woman secretary in '99 when I won by 1 vote. And I can tell you it was a very difficult election. And to win by 1 vote for the first time and become an honorary secretary of the Supreme Court Bar Session was really a privilege, and I thoroughly enjoyed my term. Though it was very challenging. I just say that. Thank you.
Now we see you as the president.
I am attempting to contest for the president. I don't know what's going to happen. We are making an attempt.
All are actually. Mr. Khalid, very briefly, so that can women have it all? That's our question, let's come.
Absolutely, we can have it all. I just want to very briefly tell you that I have worked very closely with women engineers in the companies that I have worked with. And we found it so difficult to send those lady engineers to the project. So the point that we were discussing earlier, that women do not take up challenges by themselves, Justice Pushkarna also said, be confident. Take the challenge when it comes. We all learn, we are women, remember, India, Durga Mata and all that. We can do everything. We can really have it all. We can have our careers. We can have our personal life, family life. The ones who are in the deep water, you learn how to swim, and you will definitely be able to find help in the various aspects to push you up and do it. It is very easy to just sit back and say, no, I'm not ready for it right now. And Priya and Justice Pushkarna are such great examples. I mean, I'm sure when she was given the judgeship, she must have thought, my God, what a big responsibility. And Priya, I have seen her standing for elections. She is one person who's never had any fear of losing. Don't have fear of losing, just take the challenge on. These are inspirational people with us. Not a question online, it's not there.
Okay, so we'll briefly take.
But that's okay. I think he already said it all, so I don't have any additional comments. And I do believe that yes, we can have it all.
Thank you, thanks, Akshika. So we'll take 2-3 questions if there are any.
Yeah.
Mike.
Honorable Justice Pushkarna rightly mentioned that there are more girl students in the law schools than the boys. Then in the lower judiciary, 35% women using are holding judicial positions. But then when we come to the High Court, this filters down only up to 13%. And then this number goes on a reducing scale. What can be the possible reason? Are there any family compulsion or this is lack of opportunities? What is it that makes you see that if we have more than 50% girl children, why can't we be seen as judges firstly in the lower judiciary and then later on in the High Court or as senior counsel? What is it that holds them back?
I think what really holds back is the fact that we have seen that many women, when they start out after their college, they are 100% there after college. But then as go by, we see a lot of drop rate is very high. One after the marriage and the second after having their kids. So I believe that women really need to have family support. And so that they know that when their little kids are at home, they're taken care of. Because I think that really holds many women back. And so therefore, when women are not there, they're not picked up. Because see, the situation is so, we are still waiting for our first women Chief Justice of India who will be there in 2027. Thank God we can see one in the near future. But then I would have really wanted to have one Chief Justice of India, a woman Chief Justice of India 20 years back, not now. But yes, so women really need to come forward, and what has held them back is their maybe family situation or whatever. But women, flexible timings, they should adopt that. Take your work home, be focused about your work, and you will feel confident. See, there's one saying which I read somewhere, that antidote to fear is knowledge. So when you read your file, you have done your research work, you're aware of what the cases are, you will feel fearless, you will feel empowered. So stay there, be there, do not give up the profession. Just being there itself really helps. And then so that when it's time for the concerned authorities to pick up, they can just know that yes, they have a lot of choice.
We take one more question. Is there anything else? Yes.
Good afternoon. My question is, I will keep it brief, please. Is there a scope for introducing regulations in terms of, as my lady said, flexible work hours, minimum wage within the litigation community, which is very irregular in terms of how unions have been treated? And the Honorable High Court of Delhi has also often passed directions in that sense to say that unions should be paid enough stipend or have other benefits. My lady, I think that my lady is very supportive of the flexible work hours. Not a lot of seniors think in that way, which would be really helpful for women to stay on longer in the profession. So my lady, what is your opinion on future and scope for regularization?
The Chief Justice of India himself recently flagged this issue that as far as juniors and in fact women lawyers and others are concerned, they should be paid handsomely. So yes, that's one issue. So it's a responsibility of the various lawyers, the senior lawyers as well as the law firms to ensure that the juniors are paid well. That's one. And secondly, yes, there cannot be any legislation as such for this because the lawyers are professionals. They are not working anywhere. It's not a job as such. But yes, as far as the seniors are concerned, it's their duty to mentor young persons, and secondly, young persons also ensure that you are working hard on your brief so that your senior knows that you're indispensable for them. And then once you are able to create a niche for yourself, then yes, of course, money will just automatically flow.
Thank you. I think we've run out of time. Thank you, Dr. Vaseem, Madam Vaseem, Will, for organizing this. I think it's been a very